Alright guys, it is time once again. One Piece Treasure Cruise treasure map time. This time it's going to be Super Evolving Collun. This is kind of a meh Super Evolution, but I know what we're all the most disappointed about is we all were expecting Loki to be in this treasure map Sugo Fest. Fortunately, that was not the case, and instead it was randomly this Ace and Little Oars Jr. And the rare recruits of John Giant Lonz, by the way, are great. They have really good supports, by the way, so keep an eye out on that. But funny thing is, like some people, I had Rainbow Tavern medals saved to spend on Loki, and they were going to expire by the time that Loki does finally roll around in the game. So I used them on this treasure map Sugo Fest because I wanted to like I said, try and get those rare recruits for their supports. If I got Ace and Little Oars Jr., great, it'd make the treasure map easier. But I also wanted on part one Sanji and Reiju. I didn't have them. So I got lucky. I had enough Rainbow Tavern medals for exactly 4 pulls. And on the fourth one, on part one, it guarantees a new character. So on the third multi, I got both Ace and Oars Jr. and Sanji and Reiju. And on the fourth one, I got Lonz, who he was the rare recruit I wanted the most because of his support being really good. So I was happy with that. So with that being said, these teams are going to be using double Ace and Little Oars Jr. and Lonz rare recruits. So keep that in mind. One thing to note about if you got Ace and Oars Jr. and either Lonz or John Giant, the way Lonz and John Giant specials are set up is they have like 2 tag searches that they do. So I'll just show you real quick with like Lonz before we go into the breakdown. The tag search that they do is 3 or more Giant and Navy Vice Admiral, or 3 or more Marine, Forward Arc, or Navy characters. So the funny thing is if you have one rare recruit and Ace and Little Oars Jr., plus you take the friend captain of Ace and Oars Jr., you'll meet the requirements for both of these because Oars will count as Giant, and they both count as Marine Forward and Paramount War. And John Giant and Lonz has all 4 of those tags. So that makes team building a lot easier. It would be harder if it was you needed 4 of those tags, because then you would kind of need both rare recruits essentially, or just have to like make it work other ways. But that being said, so if you have one rare recruit, like if you don't have Lonz, we have John Giant, just keep that in mind. You can still get the best version of the special as long as you have like Ace and Oars Jr. But going into the teams now, the breakdown, we'll try and get through this quick because I'm feeling a little under the weather. I don't know if y'all hear it in my voice. My throat's a little sore today. That's why I'm not doing like a stream today. I just feel like a little raspy. So I'm going to do my best to try and make it clear for you guys. So as you can see in this fight, for both these fights, the health is half quick, half strength. So you want to be taking quick and dex characters for both fights. So starting off with the fight versus Dorry and Broggy, Fighter, Striker, and Powerhouse are going to get cooldowns. They only Hirutin only has delay immunity, so he's going to do 6 turns of defense up, and he's going to change all slots to empty. So not too bad. First of all, I want to say I don't think this treasure map was too hard. Yes, I know I have 2 of the boosted units, but in general, this treasure map has some of the least amount of debuffs and stuff like that we've ran into in a while. The only thing is that some of them are annoying when paired together, like the special reverse and the blowaway specifically. But if you can address those, everything else is kind of easier to deal with. So again, only delay immunity for Dorry and Broggy. They're weak to Striker class. They're going to set up 15 turns of despair. For 5 turns, if you have 3.0 chain multiplier or less, you're going to do attack down. Again, sorry about my throat. Your middle row is going to get special binded for 6 turns, and your top and bottom row gets 3 turns of special reverse. And if you charge your specials, which you know that counts as like from a special, they'll get 2 turns of damage nullification, and your middle left and bottom left characters get blown away. So this is the team that we have to take care of this. So basically, the way that this is set up, let me switch over here to the iPad. So the way that this is set up for stage 2 is you want to use Luffy first, and just bear with me 1 second here. So Luffy's going to go ahead and give you I'll pull it up on y'all's screen for y'all as well. So you want to use Luffy first. He's going to cut your HP, which it's no biggie. He's going to give you territory, which is just a little bit of extra damage. It won't apply to hardly anybody on the team. Your quick characters are going to get a slot effect boost for 5 turns, so you'll be carrying that into the next stage. And because we have 4 more giant characters on the crew, and Straw Hat Giant, we're meeting the requirements for it. It's all I'm trying to say. Is he'll go ahead and inflict the enemy with increased damage taken. He'll also do 80% of damage reduction, and with Ace and Oars Jr., any damage reduction special gets extended by 2 turns. So that's actually going to become a 5-turn damage reduction, funny enough. So we'll carry that damage reduction into the following stage. So that's what we get by activating Ace. Then we're going to go ahead and trigger, or by triggering Luffy. Then we're going to go ahead and trigger Garp. So by using Garp's special, it's going to go ahead and reduce enemies' defense by 95%. So the enemy does get the 6 turns of defense up, but 95% defense reduction, there should be no problem like KO the enemy, obviously, because now they only have 5% of that defense buff. And then he's going to go ahead and make it so that quick characters will get an attack buff for landing. After 4 perfect strikes are hit, they'll get a 1.75 attack buff. And because our HP was cut by Luffy, he's going to go ahead and give us quick territory as well. So Garp will help give us some extra damage there. Now, using Luffy and Garp, these supports are needed for them. So for Luffy, we have Boa here, and V1 Boa, and with her special, you see, changes left column slots to character's own type, because remember our slots were changed to empty, so this will just give the left character slots matching. And with the sword character, they'll change our right column slots when using a special into recovery. So we'll have a full board matching because Ace and Oars Jr. make recovery slots matching. So perfect, good to go there. If you don't have the sword unit, Green Bull Work 2, he only gives Dex characters Dex slots. So, assuming you still have V1 Boa because of how old she is, the right side, Ace and Collun, they would have matching slots, but Garp would still have an empty slot. So everybody with Garp would have a matching slot. So that gets through the defense up and the empty slots, as well as gives us a good attack buff, or buff from Luffy. We get 2 sets of territory, we get increased damage taken on the enemy, and we get the extra damage if we hit the perfects for our quick characters, which half of our team is quick. From there, the only other thing we have that we can do is you can use one of your Ace and Oars superclass here. So that way you can change your, is it strikers or fighters that they are? You'll change your fighters into super fighter characters, and you'll also get a base attack buff. Because the cooldown won't matter for stage 2, but it's just going to give us, again, more damage for stage 2. Now, once we go into stage 3, however, then that cooldown will matter, and you'll want to go ahead and use the other Ace and Oars superclass here, so that way you can get the cooldown back for your characters. Now, the way that their superclass is set up, it's kind of annoying because it's top row striker, middle row fighter, bottom row Dex, and quick characters. So get 3 turns of cooldown. So that's why we have the team set up as is. And that's why we have Garp and Luffy in the middle, because we don't need to worry about them getting their specials back. And Collun's special we're not using at all anyway. He's just there for points, and because he's boosted by both captains, the points, he's Dex, and he's got a giant tag, stuff like that. He's just, in general, he just fits onto the team, even though we're not using his special. His special is pretty bad anyway. But after using their super class, it is going to rewind Lonz's special for us, which is key, because since he's quick in that bottom row, he'll get his special back. And by using his special, it's going to... his special's really good, by the way. It removes Special Bind and Burn by 6 turns. He also has Fear Reduction and a crewmate ability to resist Special Bind. He also has a crewmate ability for Blowaway, which will be important for the next fight. So, by getting his special back from Ace and Oars, he'll then go ahead and remove the Special Bind. But the Special Bind's only on the middle row for this stage, so it's not that big of a deal, but he does take care of it. He's going to then go ahead and give us an attack buff, because remember, we carried the orb buff from Luffy into this stage. And he's also going to, he also reduces Bind, which isn't used on this fight, but it will be used on the next one, so just keep that in mind. And he doubles Color Affinity. Is this the fight that has Intimidation, or is that the next one? No, okay. Just keep it in mind, though, that his Color Affinity buff is for 3 turns, because that will be important for the other fight. So now, by using Lonz and the special we carried in from Luffy, we'll have an attack, orb, and color affinity buff. And then we'll go ahead and use both Ace and Oars specials here. And the reason why we want to use both is to remove all turns of the Despair. So Ace and Oars, they actually have like a pretty good special because it just does so much stuff. They're a good support character to fit on teams. So they apply Ignited Status. They also, through immunity. So they remove 7 turns of Despair. So by using both, you'll remove the 12 turns. It's 15 turns, 3 off from sockets. So 7 and 7's 14. You'll have all that cleared. Good to go from there. They also added damage reduction, but we'll have that damage reduction from Luffy that we carried in here. And they're going to set a chain boundary of 3.5 to 30. And the enemy set the chain attack down of less than 3. So we'll be past it and good to go. We won't have any of the territories required there in play for the tap timing bonus, but that's not that big of a deal right now. I forgot they also removed damage reduction, which will be important for the other fight. So just to make that as easy and as clear for you guys, the order of the specials now that we've gone through them. And again, because like I said, I'm a little under weather. I just want to make sure that the final order of everything is cleared up. On stage 2, you'll use Luffy and Garp. And with Garp, he'll go ahead and get rid of... you won't have to worry about the defense anymore because they'll be reduced by 95%. The support of Hancock and the sword characters will give you full board and matching slots. Luffy's going to give you an orb buff and increased damage taken. Garp will give you a tap timing attack bonus for your quick characters. And if you use one of your Ace and Oars superclass, you'll have super fighter characters, and you'll also get a base attack buff for turn 2. Then going into stage 3, you can go ahead and use your other Ace and Oars superclass to get Lonz's special back, as well as both Aces and Oars specials back. Then you can go ahead and activate Lonz special. It will remove the special bind on your middle row characters. Not that it really matters here in this regard, but it does it anyway. He'll also give you the attack buff and color affinity buff. Then you can go ahead and use Ace and Oars, both of them, to remove the Despair, as well as go ahead and set your chain boundary so you won't have to worry about chain attack down. And you're good to go on that stage. And since you're rewinding the specials with the superclass, it doesn't trigger the interrupt, so keep that in mind. So now going into the fight versus Oars, and also checking out the treasure map planner, using that team gives you a 25.36 times multiplier. So just keep that in mind. This team against Oars, again, we're using double Ace and Oars Jr., will give you a 19.41 multiplier. Now for this one, no supports are needed. All these supports are just for stats. So as long as you've got these characters, you're good to go. I haven't leveled up, I forgot to level up Goldberg and Gerd here. But just note that they do have a... Oh, it's showing here anyway if I level them up. They do have a crewmate ability that prevents them from being blown away, which is important. So, and you'll see why in a minute, why you need someone there that has blow-away immunity in a minute. But we'll go ahead and we'll break down the Oars fight. So on this one, Dex, Quick, and Int all get cooldown. Again, the life bars on both, like I said, are going to be half quick, half strength. So you want to bring Dex and quick characters if you're able to. From there, Oars has on stage 2 full immunity. So that's different from like the prior fight where it's only delay immunity. And you're going to get hit with 3 turns of special reverse to everyone. There's going to be, the enemy gets a 6-turn threshold. Block slots for everyone, and for 4 turns, your middle left and bottom left characters are going to be blown away. So keep that in mind. On the final stage, Oars is weak to Striker. There's going to be a 9-turn bind for all your Dex characters. There's Intimidation of 2 turns removed if you activate a color affinity or a slot effect buff. So you would need to apply one that's either 3 turns or more, or carried in from that prior stage. But Ace and Oars, by the way, if you have them as a captain, they extend damage reduction and they extend damage reduction or attack boost only, so that they don't extend either of those. So for some reason I thought they extended color affinity, but we're good on that one, and you'll see why. So your Dex characters get binded. There's going to be the Intimidation, 1 turn of crewmate fear, 6 turns of burn, or 6 turns of super burn, and 12 turns of damage reduction. And he also does a death hit. So, with all that in mind, we'll go ahead. This is the team that we're rocking with. If only Ace and Oars had a better superclass in terms of, like, cooldown reduction, it would have been easier to build for this. But because of it needing, like, specific characters and stuff like that, and you need characters to prevent blowaway and stuff, this is the team we had to go with. That's why Wanda and Carrot are here. Because I just could not... I could get other units in there that would do 2 turns of cooldown, but I needed to use Goldberg and Gerd on stage 2, and you'll see why. And I couldn't get that 3rd turn of cooldown. There was no way I could figure out to make it work without switching to Wanda and Carrot. So just keep that in mind. I tried like other characters to make it work, but this was the best I could like come up with. So with that in mind, for stage 2, first thing you want to do is use Ace and Oars superclass, obviously, again, because you're hit with 3 turns of cooldown for everyone. So that will give cooldown to both your bottom row characters, because they're both quick, both your top row characters, because wherever of Ace and Oars are, they would get the cooldown. And Wanda and Carrot, they have the crewmate ability where they're just immune from special reverse. And the fear that you're hit with isn't until stage 3. So it has no effect on stage 2. So they're going to be immune to that. They'll get their special back, which is perfect. But Goldberg and Gerd will still have 3 turns of cooldown reduction removed from them. So just keep that in mind. But you do need to use Ace and Oars first just to get everybody else back, essentially. From there, you want to go ahead and use Luffy. The reason why you want to use Luffy first is because he has a better orb buff, in my opinion, than what you would get with Wanda and Carrot. Yes, Wanda and Carrots could probably apply to the whole team, but Luffy's being larger, and we have the boosted characters of Lonz plus of Ace and Oars. I'm fine with it just being a stronger orb buff, and like we're gonna hit harder with them anyway. So like again, that's up to you. But my opinion is use Luffy first. Yes, it's going to give you the HP cut, but you're going to get that crewmate damage reduction, or you're going to get that damage reduction of 80% carried into the next stage anyway. So all that's to say is you don't have to worry about the death hit. I know there's the death hit, and there's the greater damage reduction you could get from Ace and Oars of 95%, but you're going to be good to go. Like, if it's a problem, just use Wanda and Carrot here and just save Luffy for whenever. Just have Luffy there for points, whatever you want. But how I'm going to do it is Ace and Oars superclass first, then Luffy to go ahead and do the increased damage taken to the enemy on stage 2. We're going to get the damage reduction we're going to carry into the next stage, and we're going to get the better orb buff. So from there, we can then go ahead and super swap Wanda and Carrot, because with the super swap, what we'll go ahead and get is an attack buff for this turn. So by using Wanda and Carrot, we'll get the super swap, and then we'll get the attack buff for this turn. And then, actually, wait a second here. Changes their slot through block. Okay, yeah, I was like, wait, did they change everyone's block? Because I was like, I remember we got hit with the block slots, but I was like, wait, what? So they're going to give us the attack buff. Then we're going to go ahead and use their special, primarily just so we can rewind Goldberg and Gerd's special. So when we use Goldberg and Gerd's special, they're going to go ahead and change all slots, including block, to rainbow. And since we would have a slot effect buff from Luffy, they're going to go ahead and give us a affinity buff. So that way we'll have attack, orb, and affinity, and increased damage taken, and a full board of rainbow slots on this stage. So from there, we can go ahead and if you have a way to like lock slots like with a support, you're more than welcome to try and do that. Like if you want, you could probably put like Paraspera support on them. Lock strikers, yeah, use this one. Yeah, you can probably go ahead and throw Paraspera on here, so that way you can get the lock the orbs for everyone but Wanda and Carrot. Carry them in the next stage. Like, why not? Because we don't have a way to like swap orbs otherwise. So just do that. Like, why not? Then going into the final stage, you're going to go ahead and use Lonz first because all your Dex characters get binded for 6 turns. It's 9 turns, but it'll be 6 after the sockets. So by using Lonz, he'll go ahead and remove these 6 turns of bind. And he's also going to give us our attack buff and our color affinity buff for this stage. This is also why I wanted to use Luffy's orb buff, is because it lasts longer than Wanda and Carrot's, so you can carry it into this stage. Yes, Wanda and Carrot, they get their special back. You can use them again on this final stage, but again, I think it's just better to use Luffy. It's up to y'all at the end of the day. I'll probably test it either way to see how it works, but just do it however you want out of the two of them. That being said, once you're here, you can go ahead and he's going to give you your attack and orb buff, or your attack and color affinity buff, like I was saying. And your color affinity buff that he gives is for 3 turns. So that way, after the 2 turns are reduced from... Actually, you couldn't use Wanda and Carrot's orb buff here because of the intimidation. It would just remove it. So yeah, you do need to use Luffy on stage 2 to carry that orb buff into this stage. And then by using Lonz, your color affinity 2 turns will be taken off, so you'll still have the 1 turn color affinity buff for when you need it. So I was like, there's got to be another reason why I said to use Luffy there, like to justify cutting the health. But so now that the Dex characters are unbinded, you can then go ahead and use Lonz. By the way, also removes the 6 turns of burn. I forgot to say that. So that way you want to worry about the super burn. So then you can go ahead and use both Ace and Oars specials again. And again, this is going to apply the ignited status, but this time it's to remove the 12 turns of damage reduction that the enemy gets, because they each remove 7 turns, so that'll be 14. And then you'll get the chain boundary again also. So again, just to recap exactly the order of the specials that you'll want to use them all in. The order is on stage 2, Ace and Oars Superclass. That'll give you the special rewind for everyone but Goldberg and Gerd. Since Wanda and Carrot, they'll already have their specials good to go. You'll then go ahead and use Luffy's special first. Yes, it'll cut your health, but it'll give you the damage reduction that you'll carry into the final stage. It's an 80% damage reduction. And he'll give you an orb buff that you'll carry into the final stage, so you won't have to worry about the intimidation there. It'll inflict increased damage taken to Oars on stage 2. By using Super Swapping Wand and Carrot, you'll get an attack buff. Activate their special, and you'll get Goldberg and Gerd's special back. Use their special, you'll get a color affinity buff for stage 2, and all your slots will be changed to rainbow, from block to rainbow. With the Parasparrow support, it'll lock the slots for everyone but Wanda and Carrot. Then going into the final stage, you'll use Lonz special first to remove the bind from your Dex characters. You'll use that'll remove the bind from the Dex characters. That'll remove burn, so you won't have to worry about the super burn. And he'll give you your attack and color affinity buff for the final stage, because he'll give you a 3-turn color affinity buff that'll turn to a 1-turn color affinity buff. So it'll survive the intimidation. Then by using both Ace and Oars specials, you'll remove the damage reduction that the enemy gets, as well as add a chain boundary. And then from there, you can just go ahead and clear. Obviously, as you saw, any ship you want, you can use for both of these teams. I'm just using the Hoei ship for extra experience. And Wanda and Carrot, it's up to you who you want to start on. If you want to start on Wanda, if you want to start on Carrot. Because again, the Oars' life bars on both stages is half quick, half strength, and Wanda and Carrot is quick and dex. So it's just however you want to use them on your team. So just keep that in mind. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, go ahead and feel free to leave them in the comments, stuff like that. Other than that, I hope y'all have a great rest of your Sunday going into this week. I wish you luck during the treasure map. Wish you luck on your treasure map pulls. And hey, when they finally announce Loki, guys, I wish y'all the best of luck in pulling Loki. I'll be right there with y'all, however long it takes for that announcement to finally come. But hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I hope to see y'all this week for the streams we have going, as we're getting close to both the end of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak and the end of Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris. So we'll be starting 2 new games we're going to be playing through. So I hope to see y'all Wednesday for the Treasure Map stream. Hope to catch y'all for some of the other streams too. Later, everybody. Have a good rest of your week.